If you are a fitness coach, tired of trading time for money, doing endless personal training sessions, and wondering how do some of these other coaches out there make 3 to 5K per month? Well, stick to watching this video. What's going on, guys? My name's Coach Chris, one of the CEOs and founders of Dynamic Fit Pros, where my brother and I have helped over 900 plus health and fitness coaches start and grow their online coaching business. We've been in the industry for over 15 years as well too. In this video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about how to start your online coaching business from scratch, 3 steps. And I'm also gonna show you guys how to package up a high ticket transformation offer that you guys can actually sell for $1,000 to $3,000. If you're interested in that video, if you're a fitness coach, and again, if you're tired of trading time for money, stuck with one-to-one sessions and wondering how do some of these other coaches out there make 3 to 5K per month online, well, follow these 3 steps and you guys can do the same thing. Step number 1 is going to be called the mindset shift, okay? So let me draw this out for you guys just to make some good points on here, right? On the whole mindset shift, right? So the biggest first mindset shift you have to understand with this, right, is going from trainer to coach. Now, what I mean by this is when you start off kind of with this, let's just say as a personal trainer, there's not like a lot of perceived value in that as like the profession, in my opinion, and what I've experienced as well too, right? This past 15 years. But when you flip kind of the script and say you're a fitness coach, you're a nutrition coach, you're a health coach, right? I think that has more perceived value than just saying you are a trainer. If you look at Equinox, right? Their coaches underneath them, they don't call them personal trainers, right? They don't call them trainers, they call them coaches. So Equinox, if you look at their model, right, they're pretty successful. They're like probably $1 million company, right? So it's like they're doing something right with that. So I'm just saying that you want to shift your mindset from a trainer to a coach. That's the first thing on there. The next thing is, just solving more problems. And it's not only just solving more problems, but it's like higher level problems, like what we call bleeding neck problems, right? We learned that from our mentor and coach, Uriel Kane, bleeding neck problems, not a stub toe problem, right? Because if you just have like that trainer mindset, right? And you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna sit there and just solve the problem of just like prescribing workouts and counting reps and sets and putting like a structured exercise program, even if it's online, right? It's just, what problems are you really solving? It's such a really minute problem that you're solving on there. But if you can go deeper and find other real like emotionally pain pointed type of like problems within somebody's health and fitness journey, that's where it's like, okay, that's a mindset shift and that's for you to stand out. And usually the bigger problems that you solve, right, well, the more you're gonna get compensated for that, okay? Another mindset shift here is overcoming limiting beliefs, okay? So there's 5 limiting beliefs that we discuss with our coaches in Accelerator Mentorship, right? That we really sit there and try to break down to really, again, like, are you gonna overcome these like completely? I don't have the answer to that, right? I don't know if anybody does, but can you sit there and, tame these to where it's like not let them get out of control like a wildfire? Because if these all get out of control as a wildfire, well, if you're in a forest, right, that's going to spread and that's going to burn the forest down. And the forest is your mind, right? So if this all gets out of control, well, what happens if your mind burns down, right? It's going to go into like all these different ways. But if we can tame this, right, and really tame the fire of these limiting beliefs and just calm them down, right, I think you're going to be a lot better off, right? So the 5 limiting beliefs in this is imposter syndrome. The other one is comparison syndrome. The other one's fear of getting started, fear of failure, and then a scarce money mindset. And there's other limiting beliefs, but those are really the 5 core we talk about with our coaches in our mentorship. So you have to get a grasp of these, right? And you have to understand, number 1, just be aware of like, hey, which one am I really dealing with right now? Once you understand like which one you're dealing with, okay, that's where we can just like really catch that and isolate that and figure out a game plan on like how to sit there and overcome that, right? And then it's like, boom, one's done, then it's like a domino effect on the other ones if you're dealing with the other ones. If you're not, great, right? But it's like if we have 2 or 3 of those living beliefs, right, that you're dealing with, it's again, how do we work on those and not let those get completely out of control like a wildfire and really tame those, right? So that you can flourish in your guys' business and in your guys' character and your guys' personal growth. The last part here with the mindset shift is creating urgency, okay? So let me break this down into 3 different ways here because I'm really big on urgency. Let's talk about Ben Franklin. So Ben Franklin, he has a really awesome quote where he says, most men die at 25, we just don't bury them until they're 70, okay? So most men die at 25, we just don't bury them until they're 70. This goes for men and women. I don't think it's just men, right? It's a great quote because it's all about just really urgency, right? To where it's like once people hit like say 25, 30, In this context, it could be even like coaching, right? Once you hit basically a certification or like a certain kind of like threshold in your career, it's like, okay, I'm done, right? And after that, it's like, okay, you're just going through the motions, right? Making the same money, making the same impact, having the same like time and location freedom, whatever it is, right? And it's like you've capped out, right? There's no urgency to get better and better, right? So it's like by the time you're 70, it's like, okay, retirement, 401k mindset, all these different things on there, okay? So that's why I really like that quote by Ben Franklin, because it's like, no, you're not done at 25 or 30. You keep going no matter what age you are, right? Until God says, hey, knocking on your door, it's time for you to go. You've done your due diligence here on my turf, right? So I love that, right? As far as creating more urgency. The second part with creating more urgency is now is the hour and time. So I got this from a sermon from Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell, right? Amazing pastor and speaker. So he talks about in one of his sermons about now is the hour and now is the time to get closer to Christ, to read your Bible, right? To be a believer, okay? In this context, in this video, guys, I'm not talking about that, but you could use this whole entire thing to create urgency to where it's like, now is the time, now is the hour, right? To be more serious as a coach, to break these limiting beliefs, right? To get toxic people out of your guys' environment, right? To sit there and invest in your business skills, right? To sit there and take imperfect action. There's so many things you can say, now is the time, now is the hour, and make a list of things right there to be like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going to be more serious. I'm going all in. I don't have any more time. Now is the time, not later, and just creates more urgency for you to get more stuff done, okay? Now, the third part on here, right, under urgency is running out of time. Woo! I love this, right? I love talking about urgency because here's the thing. People think that they just have all the time in the world to do X, Y, Z. And especially, nutrition and fitness coaches too, I've noticed, right? To where it's like they have this mindset where they just think they have all the time in the world to build their business, all the time in the world to sit there and improve their character, all the time in the world to be better personally and professionally. I don't know what world that is, right? But the world I've lived in for 40 years and being 15 years in this industry, you don't have all the time in the world. Every single day counts. Every single week counts. Every month, every quarter, every year counts on there to get better and better. It's hard. It's not easy. So where does that mindset come to where it's like, you're just going to flip the switch one day, right? It's going to be like an on and off switch. I'm going to build my business. Oh, I'm going to get all these different skill sets, right? I'm going to help hundreds of clients out there. I'm going to grow my social media following. I'm going to just build my brand. It's not going to happen like that, guys. I promise you won't happen like that, right? It takes time to do this type of stuff. So again, the longer you wait, well, again, everybody's time is ticking, guys. Everybody's time is ticking. And you don't know if tomorrow's promised. You don't. Like I mentioned earlier, only God knows that, okay? So stop wasting time. Get started now on what you guys are trying to do with your business to create more impact, more time and location freedom, and make more money. Okay, let's jump into step number 2. So the next question, right, is now that we have those mindset shifts, let's go on to now, like, how do we sit there and put together a high-end offer, a high-ticket transformation offer, a premium package, however you want to kind of word it on there, okay? So I'm going to walk you through something that we actually do in our mentorship. It's called the Offer Star here, okay? This is going to be super valuable. So if you're interested in this worksheet below, just look at the worksheet below. It's a Dropbox link. You guys can download it. You guys can print it out. You can upload it to iPad and draw it out like this. It's super helpful. I'm a big fan of just drawing things out and actually implementing, right? So I want my YouTube channel too, and Eric's, right? Obviously not to be something where it's like, we're just going to sit here and just preach at you guys. We want you guys to actually hit pause, actually do the work with us and implement and actually leave with something done. So you guys have forward momentum in your guys' business. Okay. So download this workbook below and actually follow along when I do this. Okay. It's going to be much more powerful. Okay. So how do you put together a high premium, high end, high ticket transformation offer for an online fitness or nutrition business? Okay. So it's called the Offer Star. And the reason why it's an Offer Star is because there's 5 different components that are 5 huge elements that's going to really help you guys create this high-end offer, okay? So the very first one here that we want to look at is you want to have an outcome and a promise with a deadline. You can't just tell people you're going to help them lose weight, you're going to help them build muscle mass, you're going to give them more energy, right? You have to have something, in my opinion, needs to be very tangible on here, okay? So the outcome and the promise needs to be tangible, coupled with a deadline, 8, 10, 12, 16 weeks, if it needs to be longer, whatever, right? But that clear, specific outcome, right, and promise coupled with the deadline, that is what they are going to pay for, honestly. That's where they're going to hand the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 over with, not the deliverables, not all these things that they get with it. I'm telling you, it's the outcome and the promise, okay? So the more you buy into that, the better you get with this, the more of these you're going to sell on there, okay? Now, the second one here, I like to call this a roadmap. So in our mentorship, we teach our coaches to build a roadmap, right? So once they're very crystal clear on what that outcome is and that promise, the deadline, okay, how are we getting them there, right? So it's like, how are we getting them there? So they're starting, right? And then the finish line is basically the outcome and the deadline, right? Outcome slash promise the deadline. Well, how are we getting them from start to finish on there? Well, I'm a true believer in a roadmap, right? That consists of basically, this could be called your unique process. It could be your specialty. It could be a method. Could be a 3-step system, blueprint, whatever you guys want to call it. But there needs to be something to where it shows them where they are, how they're going to get there. Because yeah, it sounds great when you hear like the outcome and the promise, the deadline, but if you have nothing to back that up of a roadmap to show people, okay, that's where the skepticism kicks in a little bit. That's where the trust starts to decrease a little bit on there, okay? So you have to have a roadmap to show them how they're going to get there. Now, the third part here is I'm a big fan of bonuses. Now, not just bonuses where it's like making people do extra work. So if you look at it this way as an analogy, so they're starting here at the bottom of the mountain and then they're trying to get here. So start, finish, right? Now, what tends to happen if this is your client right here and they have a backpack here, well, you start putting a bunch of different like stuff in their backpack, which are bonuses, just useless stuff that causes more work. Well, what do you think is gonna happen there, right? It's gonna make the backpack super heavy, right? And it's like, do you think they're gonna sit there and get over this like hump right here and then get to the finish line? No, they're not. What's gonna happen is they're gonna end up falling down here because it's too much damn work on their end, right? You're just making your program more complicated, too much time for them to dedicate, right? So that's the problem, right? If it's useless bonuses. So they need to be high value bonuses and they need to be tied into basically that outcome, the promise, and also the main problems that the actual avatar is actually facing, right? So it can't just be something that's like a total disconnect from somebody, right? Let's just say somebody, you're working with say a high level, executives or something like that. And one of their big things in health and fitness is like, they're going to have time constraints, okay? So if you throw in like a bonus or something like that that has nothing to do with like helping them be more efficient with time and workout, nutrition, stuff like that, it's useless. You know what I mean? It's not even tied or it's not even congruent to that avatar's main pain points, okay? So these bonuses you guys have need to be very high end and they need to be really kind of like targeted and congruent with what this avatar's main pain points and problems they're facing within their health and fitness journey, okay? All right, the fifth point on here is we call this price structuring, okay? So you can't just be the type of coach where it's like, hey, my high ticket transformation offer is going to be like just $2,000 paid in full. Or, you can't just be sometimes like, it's just going to be basically 3 even payments of like, I don't know, let's just say if it's $1,200, it's $400 a month on there, okay? You can test that out, absolutely, right? And you can see how this works in your sales process and your skills. But then it's like, okay, how do you sit there and then get crafty and financial engineer with specific price structures to be able to help these people get in, right? If they're good qualified, prospects, if they really want this, they see the value in it, right? And it's really just a financial thing and it's a logistical thing to where they just don't have the money to be able to sit there and do a pay in full or 3 monthly payments of XYZ on there, okay? So you gotta be very good at getting creative with like price structuring, right? The person, honestly, I truly believe, right, they can sit there and get very creative with their price structures are going to close more deals on there. I truly believe it because I've seen this so many times, right? Coaching over 900 health and fitness coaches the past 6 years, where it's like they are so fixated on a black and white mindset to where it's like, nope, it's either painful or it's just this payment option and there's nothing else. It's cut and dry, right? And usually they lose sales on there, okay? So get really good at price structuring. Now the last part here is a combination of 3 things here. I like using actual real scarcity. So scarcity basically is a function of units or spots available. So maybe you only have XYZ spots left for a certain amount of month or week, whatever it is right there for your coaching cohort. And then I like actual real urgency as well too. And that's a function basically time-based, right? So it's like, hey, we're starting on this exact date, right? We're opening and closing. We're not gonna open again until whenever, right? And then I actually like guarantees too. And they can actually be risk reversals as well too, guarantees. They could be conditional, anti-conditional as well too. But these actually help people just, again, people are buying basically certainty. That's what they want. They want certainty. So the more you can basically take on more risk as a coach and give them more reward, well, that's going to create more certainty, right? And that's going to sit there and make them feel like, okay, you know what? This is a no-brainer. Let me just actually make this purchase and invest in this coaching program and we'll be done with it because there's a good guarantee on there as well too, right? In case things don't happen. And honestly, guarantee sometimes too, it flops. Sometimes it does really good. There's people that are, for it, some people are against it. I'm usually in the middle of it as long as it makes sense for you as the coach, if it feels good, if you can back it up as well too. There's a lot of different nuances as well too. It's not that black and white, which is guarantees in my opinion. So what's awesome about this, guys, is you guys can actually take this here now and rate yourself what areas you are struggling, right, with your guys' high ticket transformation offers. So, hey, is this a red area that you need more of a better outcome promised? You need to work on price structuring this. And then maybe it's like, hey, maybe the roadmap's good. Maybe the bonuses are like somewhat good. Okay, great. If we step back here and we take like an aerial view, okay, we know we need to work on the outcome, the promise, the deadline, the price structuring, the scarcity, the urgency, and guarantee on your guys' offer to make it better, okay? Okay, if you're finding value in this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, so you guys can get more of these high value based videos. Okay, let's finish this off with step number 3 here, which is called the standout strategy model, okay? So this is gonna really help you guys stand out from the noise. So this is basically you, the coach, and you guys are basically standing out. These are stars, okay? You guys are standing out from all the other health and fitness coaches out there that honestly don't invest in themselves, that aren't committed, that aren't driven. They're complacent, right? They have all the time in the world. They like keeping their limiting beliefs, all that good stuff, okay? I'm not gonna make a video on that right now and go down that hole, but you know what I'm saying. If you're watching this, you're different, okay? Okay, let's work on the standout strategy model, okay? So step 1 here is gonna be your audience, guys. In order to stand out and be able to sit there and sell high-end premium packages like this, right, and really grow your coaching business, I'm a big fan of really getting into your guys' audience, okay? So with that audience, right, it's like, what's that one singular target market that you wanna help? Well, again, we have to figure this out. What's that bleeding neck problem? And again, we learned this from our coach and mentor, Yuri Alkame. I want to give credit where credit's due. But what's that bleeding neck problem, guys? It's super high persistent, super high severity on there, okay? Not something where it's just like, oh, okay, I'll fix it when I need to fix it, right? It's not a now type of thing. I can wait 6 or 12 months later type of thing to fix this bleeding neck problem, right, in my health and fitness journey. No, it needs to be like literally blood is like gushing out of like your neck, right? And it's like, if you don't fix it, you die type of thing, right? It has to be that high level of like pain and persistence and urgency to fix this, okay? So you gotta figure out what is that bleeding neck problem that you could really help somebody solve, and you're also good at to be able to do too, and you have some expertise to back it up, okay? Now, the next thing is like, who is like that PFC, which is basically your avatar, okay? Online, that perfect future client on there, right? That you could basically couple this bleeding neck problem on there. That creates that one singular target market that helps you stand out online, okay, as a coach. And then from there, what we want to do is we want to get into your guys' messaging, okay? The magic is in the messaging. So with messaging, you have to get very good at understanding the pain points and the wants, right? So the pain points, the frustrations, the long-term fears, right? What keeps people up at night when they're driving like to work, when they're going on their lunch break, like what are they constantly thinking about within their health and fitness? It's driving them nuts, right? And then the wants, what are their short-term goals? What are their long-term goals, their aspirational goals, right? What do they truly desire within their health and fitness, right? We have to get very good at that. And that's what really, what it comes down to, of understanding the psychographics of your guys' perfect future client. People talk about demographics, which is fine, but like psychographics, in my opinion, what I've seen is way more important than demographics, getting in the mind of these clients, right? So the pain points, the wants, that's what you guys got to get really good at with your messaging. Then it's like you got to go back to that unique process. So kind of what I talked about in the offer star is the roadmap, right? So that could be your unique process, your specialty, your method. Like, what do you do differently? You can't just be another coach that says like, I'm going to help you lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. And that's it. Like, okay, how are you going to do that? That's fine to say that, but like, how are you going to do that? What makes you different? What is that unique process? What's that unique system? What's that unique method, that blueprint, that specialty, the secret sauce? Because people love new, they love novelty, right? So that's what's going to get them curious to be like, okay, I want to try this out. I've never heard of it this way, right? You have my attention. Tell me a little bit more on there, okay? So there's got to be a unique process you talk about in your messaging. And then now here, it comes down to content, guys. So if we look at content here, I should have done basically something like this, right? There's 4 different ways we can really just create high value based content here to really match like this avatar and get the messaging right, and then lead into having the opportunity to present the high ticket transformation offer to them, okay? So the first one is it's connection. So you got to get good at connecting with your guys' prospects. Okay? People buy coaches, not coaching. So you got to show them outside of like what you do as a coach, like you're a real person, your hobbies, your values, what you stand for, all that good stuff, family stuff, okay? You don't have to show everything, but like let's just show little bits and pieces so we relate with people and we connect with people, okay? The next thing is value, guys. So yeah, we can do how-to stuff, how I did X, Y, Z, right? I like polarizing content. I like contrarian style content. I like stuff like what's like what you really truly stand for, what pisses you off about the industry or about that your avatar or like, you know, specifically in that niche that you work with, right? Things like that. You're throwing rocks against them. That's really good content out there. It's super valuable because it shifts mindsets and it really makes you different than other coaches out there, okay? The next one is proof, guys. So social proof. Case studies, screenshots, right? Before and after pictures, all that stuff is really, really amazing stuff that you need to share on social media, right? To show that you can get people results. And the last one is an invite type of content post, call to action, right? To either comment a word to start a sell by text with them or sit there and, you know, find out more information on how to work with you, right? That you're taking on another group or something like that this month, whatever it is, right? But invite them to work with you and let them know that, because a direct kind of call to action like that, people need that, because they're not so many people are going to sit there and just message you guys out of the blue. Okay. So some people need to be secretly led like that. Okay. So if you guys get that right, man, like the standout strategy of basically your audience, your messaging, your content. And if you go back to this, guys, and you guys have the offer star dialed in, if you guys break down some of these like limiting beliefs and these shift your mindset around some of these things, I mean, just how can you not sit there and build a six-figure online coaching business? How can you not sit there and stand out? How can you sit there and not sell a high premium, high ticket transformation, high-end online offer and make the money that you want, position yourself as the expert and authority, live the lifestyle you want, and create the impact and influence that you want? Tell me how you can't do that. Okay, hopefully this video was helpful, guys. Something new that we're doing is we're actually ending our videos with a prayer. Again, we are men of God. I'm not pushing anything on you guys. Everybody needs prayer. Everybody needs a little more faith in their life in here. So let me end this with a quick prayer, and then I'll tell you guys the next steps on here. Father God, we thank you so much for this video. If it touches one viewer, if it touches 100, touches 1,000, touches billions, that's up to you, Lord. All I ask is that these amazing nutrition and fitness coaches implement this and they actually use it, God, to be able to sit there and impact thousands, if not millions and billions of lives out there for people to put their health and fitness first, God, to end diseases, reverse diseases, cure diseases. We truly believe in nutrition and fitness coaches to do this type of work, and that's going to advance your kingdom. In your name I pray, amen. So hopefully you received that on there. So the next thing I want you to do is two options, right? If you want to fast track this, right, and you want us to help you really grow your business, get this offer dialed in, stand out more, all these different things, book a free business growth consult below with Coach Eric to see if it's a good fit. We're not going to sell anything. We're truly just going to see if we can help you out and if we're a good fit. The second option, watch this next video with Coach Wesley. He made, I think, like $4,700, right, in our mentorship. I think like literally within a month or something like that, by just implementing some of these certain tactics he talks about in the video. So extract some of that value in there, implement it into your guys' business, and we'll see you guys on the next video.